What we have here is a GWM Cannon-Ute. Now you may not have heard of GWM before because it's the rebranding of Great Wall Motors, which has been in Australia for about 10 years now. This new dual cab comes in 3 spec levels, all really well equipped. In fact, a stack of equipment from the bottom up. All of them get a lot of safety gear. They get automatic emergency braking, lane keep assist, rear cross traffic alert, 7 airbags. They also have 7-year warranty across the range and push button start and keyless entry. That bottom spec one is 34k. For 38k you get electric driver's seat adjustment and you get heated seats. 41k adds leather and electric adjust for the passenger seat. We're going to take it for a spin, see how we go, off-road, on-road, and we'll see what it's like. This GWM Cannon-Ute has a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel. The engine in its basic form was carried on from the previous Great Wall Motors Steed, but it has new turbo, new fuel injection system, common rail of course, a few other changes. It still doesn't make a lot of power and torque, 120 kilowatts and 400 newton metres, so pedal to the metal, you hardly call it a quick ute, but it's nice and effortless. It's helped in everything it does by the ZF 8-speed gearbox, which is new. The previous one had a 6-speed gearbox. The ZF box is really nice. It picks the changes at the right time. You can't really feel the changes. It's geared sort of reasonably tall, but then with a big spreader ratios with 8 of them, it's got a nice spread from the bottom to the top. The 4-wheel drive system is an on-demand system. It's not a part-time system, which is different from most of the mainstream utes, which means you don't have to put in the 4-wheel drive. The drive system itself picks up 4-wheel drive if and when it needs it. Particularly good on gravel roads, wet bitumen roads, and if you do go off-road, you're in 4-wheel drive anyway. You don't have to select 4-wheel drive. It's still got low range of course, which is selected by the dial on the centre console. Off-road it performs really well. It's got a lot of wheel travel at the back and not too bad wheel travel at the front. It's fairly well protected underneath. The air intake is from the inner guard. It's got solid rear and front recovery hooks. So I mean, it sort of ticks most of the boxes off-road. It's perhaps not an absolute gun off-road ute, but it's certainly, you know, well in the sort of mixed sort of contemporary utes it competes against. On-road ride and handling is good too, and the suspension's well resolved. The only complaint is the steering's a little bit heavy and dull, but you know, I guess in some ways you get used to that. But certainly in terms of the suspension comfort, it's, you know, pretty impressive, and it's well resolved, which is something that you haven't really been able to say against about a lot of Chinese utes in the past. Okay, we've had a sort of decent drive with this thing now, both on-road and off-road, back roads, dirt roads, bit of highway. I must say I'm pretty impressed. It's a long way forward from the Great Wall Steed, which was the previous generation. A little bit more power and torque would be nice, but the engine is still effortless enough. There's very little to complain about. It's especially good value for money in terms of all the safety stuff, because it's got all the high-end safety stuff you get in the best of other cars, but at a very modest price. Chinese cars have picked up in sales in Australia a lot in the last couple of months, and with things like this on the market, expect to see more Chinese cars on the road.